What is up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Bravo Zulu podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Moore. I had people telling me that I wasn't going to talk about this. They were saying, why haven't you talked about it yet? Because it was the weekend, and I was putting out other podcasts and recording. But we're going to get into it because, rightfully so, I think, a little bit. People are upset about things that got put out Friday, February Eve, and like it's wild times, right? So we'll just kick it off by giving you the celebratorial, Happy Black History Month. Okay, February 3rd. Last Friday, there's two things that came out. I'm looking off screen here because I got my share screen going on. Okay, first, the president. Love him, hate him, indifferent, doesn't fucking matter. The president put out his memo, proclamation, okay, acknowledging Black History Month. There it is, right there, right? I'm not going to read through this whole thing. You've read it, or you can read it yourself, okay? There it is. Give shout-outs by name to different people. Him putting in there Clarence Thomas, the very conservative Supreme Court judge, is kind of laughable. It made me chuckle, right? Because it's kind of like we know why he did it, okay? And it goes on, and it's all good. Again, this don't think of this one way or the other, okay? Every president every year puts out this kind of message to the nation. Take it for what you want. Worthless, lip service to the nation, lip service to the Black Americans in the community, whatever you want to do. Excuse me, I got it. That's just bugging me over here. Okay. It could mean even less that it's coming from this president than it did from the last president. I don't know. You let me know in the comments how much it doesn't mean to you. Okay. But there it was. And then immediately, which I don't even think anyone realized the president put this message out, because what got all the headlines, right, was this one here. Boom. Identity Month's dead at DoD. And this is what I'm going to talk about because, again, the perspective I'm trying to give here, that I'm not even trying, I am doing, okay, is just through my personal military mindset of why these things are coming out and how they can impact us militarily, okay? Save your fucking politics for a one-on-one conversation with me, because that takes a lot more, and I better have known you for at least like a couple years if you want to do that, okay? So here this one says, guidance from the SECDEF, Identity Month, dead at DoD. First off, like, that's not great marketing right there to say it like that. That could have been done a lot better, because that comes out very aggressive, which, partly you appreciate, but partly, like, if you're going to dive into this subject, you might want to take a different approach. Every problem doesn't need to be a nail, and you don't have to be using your hammer. Our unity and purpose are instrumental to meeting the department's warfighting mission. Efforts to divide the force, to put one group ahead of another, erode camaraderie, and threaten mission execution. I can't disagree with that, right? But timing of this, not so good, right? This was on the eve of Black History Month. And maybe just mistimed, but when is a good time? If you got to rip the Band-Aid off, you got to rip it off. But we're going to get more into, like, let's see what else they say, and let's see if we can figure out a why behind this a little bit more, okay? Going forward, DoD components and military departments will not use official resources to include man hours to host celebrations or events related to cultural awareness months, including National African American Black History Month, Women's History Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Pride Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and National American Indian Heritage Month. Whew, that's a lot. Service members and civilians remain permitted to attend these events in an unofficial capacity outside of duty hours. Okay, so a couple, like, let's get it. Let's keep it a buck around here. Okay, a couple of these things. I just want to ask you, if you're an upset person about it, how many of these events did you participate in? Okay. Let's take it from the chief's perspective. Okay. If you're the chief and you're upholding the some of your our chief, I don't know what the fuck, mission fighting guiding principles, the heritage, history, stuff like that. Are you the chief in any of these months? Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be your specific month or your particular month, right? Are you passing down the knowledge? Are you helping your sailors look up people that fit into these categories and talk about their contribution to the Navy, to that war, to the battle? If that's you, I think you have every right to be upset about this. Okay. Um, I'm not super upset, but it was kind of like a shitty thing because I enjoyed doing that. I did not participate in the multicultural stuff or this or that. But if a sailor came to me saying, "Hey, I'm doing this for this project. Can you point me in any direction?" Yeah, what are we doing? Black History Month. Let's look up Chief Turpin, right? One of the first Navy divers, not Carl Brashear, who was like the first master diver. This was one of the first Navy divers, right? And let's look at him up and see what he did, and talk about that, right? And bring to light some of the lesser known, lesser notoriety people that fit into all these different categories here, right? Women's history, right? Well, oh, Loretta Walsh. Okay, but who else, right? What about it went blank. The Rachel, was it Rachel, the CT that died in combat with the SEALs, right? Some years ago, right? Like, people forget about that one. It was not Rachel, it was something else. I'm sorry. I'd have to Google it, right? But Asian Pacific Islander Month, right? Look up those, right? The first Navy destroyer, first ship, going to be named after a Filipino American. My boy put me onto that, right? Shout out Ti. So, like, are we helping with those things? If we're not helping with any of that, right? But we do fall into one of those categories, but we're not helping. What are we? What are we throwing the fit about? Right? That's one of those. Where did I just read this? Oh, this is an upcoming podcast, right? Like, those that always complain first about, oh, what was me? Yeah, they didn't do nothing, right? But if you're a person that's constantly helping with this stuff, I can understand why you're upset, and it's rightfully so, I think. Okay, so everything gone, like, just boom, with no identity months. We're not doing it. Um, you can't do it on your own time, right? Uh, Service members and civilians remain permitted to attend these events in an unofficial capacity outside the duty hours. Okay, so outside those duty hours could be anything that your chain of command allows you to do, right? Is the SECDEF going to find out that Seaman Willie got put on liberty by his chief or department head so they can go attend Friday morning an event at their local whatever place that's celebrating any one of these? Nah, probably not. Unless Seaman Willie goes in uniform and starts posting it on social media, hashtagging people, adding people, and putting himself out there, which is something you do have to worry about in today's world, right? And then that shit would blow up, and it'd be funny. It'd be funny because it'd be like, I know a chief would be like, "Hey, look, yeah, you can go. Don't be fucking posting about it. Just keep it low key. Go celebrate, have fun, do everything, but keep it low key. Don't no social media." And they'd be out there first thing, boom, and just at SACDEF, see me out here, right, in uniform and all that. But whatever. So again, how many of you, have complained about your sailor not getting the PMS done, and the sailor's excuse was, "Well, I was working on the multicultural thing, or I was working on this." Not even multicultural or any of these, any other collateral. Okay, and this is just where I want to go with this, right? Is most of these are collaterals that maybe we don't need, that take away from more mission things, that take away from more focus of the work that should be getting done. Or if your rebuttal is the work ain't even that much, it's bullshit, well, then this is extra collateral work that they're at work for when I could just be sending them on liberty and get them out of there, right? Think about it like that too. Okay. Um, And I mean, this was really short. It was just like, boom. Installations units officers are encouraged to celebrate the valor and success of military heroes of all races, genders, and backgrounds as we restore our warrior culture and ethos. We are proud of our warriors and their history, but we will focus on the character of their service instead of their immutable characteristics. I could guess what that word means, but I don't know. This guidance is effective immediately, right? And that was it. Boom, done. Right? All of those things, just snap of a finger. SECDEF said that we're not celebrating them anymore. So, what do we do then? Okay, because there's a lot of people that are angry about it. Again, rightfully so. Go ahead, be angry. I don't think there's anything unlawful about this order. If you're a good chief, you're a good leader, you could get creative. You could figure out ways. Um, I'm not saying to go against the order, right? But there are still ways that you can celebrate in your unofficial off-duty capacity to get the point across. What I think we're missing though is and this is what it's like. You're gonna have to get creative, right? You're gonna have to find time. You're gonna have to make time. If you want it to happen, you might have to do more of it than shoveling it to the E4s and fives to put together the whole little committee thing and make it happen on the mess decks with some cake at 9 in the morning. Okay. Um, but I think what we should be focusing on, and as I was just saying 3 minutes ago, is encouraged to celebrate the valor and success of military heroes of all races, genders, whatever. So if that just so happens that you switch up and a commanding officer gets smart and says something like, you know what, we're not going to have multicultural committee, that's done, but we're going to have the military heroes committee, something like that, right? And we're going to put on a thing on the mess decks with cake at 9 in the morning, in 3 weeks for the military heroes committee. They're going to put it on. And it just so happens that the military heroes committee this month picks some Black Americans, African Americans, whatever, whichever one you want to use. All right. Go ahead. Sounds pretty all right. It's not an identity month, right? It is celebrating the valor and success of military heroes. Okay. If you want to mix it in every month, and I think that's where I try to find silver linings and things, right? I think that's where we could mix it up. That's where we could make this better. Is we switch up the committee, we make a focus on us as just the military people serving, but every month we're still celebrating, right? And every month it's a person from whoever they find that month, right? It doesn't just have to be the woman during Women's History Month. It doesn't just have to be the Native American during Native American or Hispanic, which I don't call month. I say Hispanic 30 days because it's not a month. There's 12 months. They gave us 15 of us. You might not count me. It's okay. I get it. Of 2 months, right? But like you could sprinkle that throughout the year if we just switch up, get smart, and get ahead and just pivot to what we really want to celebrate, what we should have been celebrating already, right? We should have been, if you're doing this right within the military. I'm not talking about like President Trump's that's saying, hey, nation, Black History Month, right? However, you want to celebrate that in your unofficial capacity. But when I'm speaking strictly to military, right? In our capacity as a military and our official duties, then make it military every month and make it diverse. Because again, I've said it plenty of times in the previous episodes. I support the diversity. I don't support the next two letters. Okay. The diversity though, you can mix it up every month and still keep beating the drum that we intend to, the drum of military service, trying to get it right, honoring those that have come before us, and paving a way forward to those that will follow. I don't. I'm not going to get here stuck on anything else other than that, right? You can get stuck on plenty of the wrongs that have been, the wrongs that you've experienced, the wrongs that will come in the future. You can celebrate the wrongs. You can group up and get in circles and feed into those things. I don't think that's gonna help us, and it's not gonna help the military move us in the right direction where we need to be. Not that any of what was canceled was moving us in the wrong direction, not at all. Again, I loved celebrating most all of those. Okay. Um, I think it was great to have cake at 9 in the morning on the mess decks. Okay. And, having some spice on my food for that day coming out the galley, I support it from my CSs. Okay. So again, there's nothing wrong with them, but this is what's coming down the pipeline. How are we going to pivot, shift, and still celebrate the contribution of so many of these groups and people? And it doesn't need to be what we need to put at the forefront of is their military service, and not that, I guess, what they called immutable characteristic, right? I don't care what the characteristic was. They did it before me, and I somehow I need to find a way to honor that and pay recognition to that, and try to get my sailors to recognize that also. Okay, so that's really it. That's all I got for now. It's gonna just be a short one. Okay, let me know down in the comments. Give me a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments. How are you responding to this? How do you, if you're out there, you're a leader, or even a junior setter, how do you think you want to get your division, department, command to kind of pivot, shift, and still provide celebration and recognition for so many, but doing it within the new left and right lateral limits here? Okay. That's all I got for tonight. Let me know what you think. All right. I'm really interested, and I'll respond to them. Okay. Hey, don't forget. All right. These views and opinions, they're only of myself, Joshua Moore, and they do not represent the DoD, the DON, or those of the respected institutions or organizations. It's just me, just talking to you. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. We got some more episodes coming up. We'll holler at you later. All right.